We are the Ministry of the Real Truth, and today we are going to review and ad-lib to the following content within this video. The lecture on Genesis translated by Jordan Maxwell. If you are not fully aware of who this man is, we have gathered background information on him as well as the people he makes reference to throughout his lecture. And who is Jordan Maxwell? This is the official Jordan Maxwell website, and it has the home section of it. There's bio, resume, audio, video, research, and more. Jordan Maxwell continues as a preeminent researcher and independent scholar in the field of occult religious philosophy. His interest in these subjects began as far back as 1959. He served for 3.5 years as the religion editor of Truth Seeker magazine, America's oldest free thought journal since 1873. His work exploring the hidden foundations of Western religions and secret societies creates enthusiastic responses from audiences around the world. He has conducted dozens of intensive seminars, hosted his own radio talk shows, guested on more than 600 radio shows, and written, produced and appeared in numerous television shows and documentaries, including 3 2-hour specials for the CBS TV network, as well as the internationally acclaimed 5-part Ancient Mystery series, all devoted to understanding ancient religions and their pervasive influence on world affairs today. His work on the subject of secret societies, both ancient and modern, and their symbols, has fascinated audiences around the world for decades. Considering the rapidly moving events of today and the very real part that hidden religion or hidden religious agendas play in our modern war-torn world, he feels these controversial subjects are not only interesting to explore but too important to ignore. His extraordinary presentations include documents and photographs seldom seen elsewhere. Jordan's areas of interest include astrotheology, foundations for modern day religions, secret societies and toxic religion, world mysteries, ancient and modern, ancient symbols and occult emblems, ancient sciences and technology, hidden Bible teachings and mysteries, the sun and the history of politics and religion, the story your church doesn't want you to know, secret societies and the influence on world events. And these are affiliations listed, seminars and conferences and so forth. So he's been a very busy lad. There's quite a lot there. There's his lectures, University of Hawaii, 1996, 1995 and so forth. So we can leave a link to this website below this video so you can go and take a gander or look at that in your own time as you see fit. We have more information on Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell, a pseudonym of Russell Joseph Pine, Pensacola, December 28, 1940, March 23, 2022. So this is probably his real name. Russell Joseph Pine, who is an American writer, researcher who deals with theology, secret societies, etymology and occultism. Biography: Maxwell is seen as a great name within the world of complottheoretic compressetics and served as an example for various authors and researchers within the area, including Michael Zarion and David Icke. We all know David Icke, right? The British person who has all these conspiracy theories, supposedly even claimed to be Jesus way back in the 90s, his early days, and so forth. Maxwell was an editor at Truth Seeker magazine for 3 years, made documentaries for CBS TV network, and presented his own rapid program under the ABC banner ABC. One of Maxwell's hobby horses, alongside symbolism and wording, is a so-called astrotheology, not devised by him, a theory that states that religions are based on astronomical events. Could be related to astrophysicists or astrophysics, etc. Thus, the story of Jesus' birth, crucifixion, resurrection, The 12 apostles, like many others, would be based on the faith of the sun god Horus. Maxwell argues that all these beliefs show similarities to the cult of Horus, no matter how minimal. Okay, that's his personal perspective, his claim, not ours. We can agree with it if we find that it's actually true. Bibliography, matrix of power, etc., external links, and so forth. So we're going to have a listen to what he has to say. This video appeared on YouTube, so it shouldn't be a copyright claim or strike or anything like that. It's freely available on there. The music that's playing in the background, well, that's part of that video, so we shouldn't get any infringements because of that. It's included within this lecture.
Thank you very much. Always happy to be here with you. It so happens that I have a subject that I've been wanting to talk about, so it seems like this would be just as good a time as any. In the Bible, there are many things that are misunderstood and mistranslated into English that comes from what we call Hebrew. First of all, we need to understand that that which we refer to as Hebrew is in point of fact not Hebrew, but Canaanite, Phoenician Canaanite. The bloodline is from the...
Yeah, and that's what we said on our Ministry of the Real Truth on our many videos, that it's not the original Hebrew, the Tav Ivri, or original ancient very old Hebrew. It's a form of that, but it's a very different form. And apparently, through our research, we found that the Hebrew, the Israeli Hebrew spoken today, is, as he says, of Phoenician Canaanite Ugaritic origin. There's others out there, experts that say the same thing, and was revised around the early 1900s. Okay, so this video basically in part backs up our ministry, what it's really all about, the Ministry of the Real Truth in comparison to the original ancient very old Tab Asherit Aramaic Old Testament manuscripts in the sacred scribal language of God, spoken by God to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and by the men of at the Tower of Babel, one to each other. The Lishana Atika Sapreya, the sacred scribal language of God. And these Old Testament manuscripts, the Brita or the Genesis in English to Malachi, were hand copied by scribes, monks in Urhai, Edessa, Urfa in the Arabic, today's modern Turkey, around 800 to 900 BCE. Translated into the nearest English equivalent by the native-born, fluent Aramaic-speaking translator, Victor Nimrod Alexander from Mesopotamia, Syria, who has at least, today, 30 years' experience in translating these or those original ancient, very old manuscripts without the common translator's bias, prejudice, twistings, adding one's own flavour to the text, editing or revising or omitting portions deliberately, etc. These original ancient very old Old Testament manuscripts are of the original ancient very old Apostolic Orthodox Church of the East, founded by the disciple Thomas, with the aid from St. Bartholomew, St. Thaddeus, St. Peter and Mary of the 70, around the 1st century AD. This, then, a particular video, silences our naysayers, critics, the trolls, etc. that come at us, occasionally or frequently, trying to belittle us, undermine us as ministry, etc. And those who are adherents of the modern churches of today, with their heresies, mistranslated, misinterpreted, falsified doctrines and dogmas that they have been dictated and taught to repeat, teach, or parrot to others in order to get people to their church, paying tithes, etc., in order to make their church grow, in the sense of rich, wealthy, extravagance, etc. These people are well-intended adherents who have been taught or programmed to defend the modern Americanized English version of Christianity, spread globally, come hell or high water. Spread it globally, come hell or high water. Who get upset when exposed as preaching falsities. Their ego gets the better of them, their pride, and it's all to do with their neurocognitive wiring, the cognitive brain, embedded within their subconscious, and they have to come at us retorting, making false assumptions, claims, create undermining slurs, slander against our ministry, the ministry of the real truth. They are not so much to blame, okay? We forgive them for that because we understand they're not so much to blame for these kind of reactions, as it all really is coming from higher up, higher levels of their organized religions, their hierarchy that continually dictates them that they are connected to God. God speaks only to them, through them, perhaps through their ordained prophet or their claimed prophet, or prophet that they've made a prophet. So all they say is 100% true. In order to get all to submit, conform as their subjects under their control, boot heel. If they think for themselves, they are often scolded, threatened with excommunication, lack, loss, deprivation, etc. They are often subtly told, do not think for yourself, do not question us, you're going too deep into the scriptures, cut it out, you're asking too many questions and you're not conforming to our dictates. So toe the line and listen to what we have to say, okay? Because we are the meat eaters and you are just supping on the milk. You're children of the faith. You're babies of the faith. We're the more mature, okay? So sit back, shut up and listen to what we say, okay? What we dictate you. So let's listen to this video lecture further by Jordan Maxwell, and we will ad-lib where we feel it is really needed. Comparing all said claim with the original ancient, very Old Testament Tab Asheret manuscripts, the Aramaic, translated into the nearest equivalent by via the once up and running popular website / translation project of the translator Victor N. Alexander, unjustly downed around 2015 to 16, va.com, which we revived and then we've brought to all via our YouTube channel, the Ministry of the Real Truth. So let's go back to this video and listen to what he has to say, Jordan Maxwell, and then we'll ad-lib in between where needed, as we already stated.
The ancient Middle East called the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians, their area, that area in which Phoenicia existed, was called Cana, the land of Cana. So today we refer to the Canaanite, Phoenician Canaanite language as Hebrew. All you have to do is go to reference books and look up ancient Hebrew, and it will tell you ancient Hebrew is actually Phoenician Canaanite. And it develops and mutates and comes down through history until today we call it Hebrew. But
it's Israeli Hebrew. So you go online, you put in the URL search and find out about Elohim, etc., and it should come up. Probably Wikipedia's the top one, which tells you about Elohim, the name El, the article the, and what Elohim actually means, as he states in this video, the God, or the gods with little g, okay? Many gods, right? Or three or more gods, okay? Pantheon of gods. And you'll see like a little golden idol on the right of that article. That is El, pagan, Canaanite, Ugaritic God. Okay? According to the translator Victor N. Alexander on this translation project, va.com, he states that somewhere along the way, Abraham scripted the true name of God, or one of the true names of God, wrong. It shouldn't be El, it should be El, E-I-L. So you would have not El Shaddai, etc., etc. You would have El Shaddai, El Leon, etc., etc.
Hebrew is actually a Phoenician language.
And who are these Phoenicians? They're the ones who came by the sea. They were seafaring and they traded with the ancient Egyptians, etc. And the ancient Egyptians also had dealings with the Arameans, the Syrians or the Assyrians, and other people through trade, etc.
And many of the concepts and ideas which are expressed in the Old Testament are not original to the Old Testament. It goes back to even further back into ancient history, so that many of the concepts and belief systems in Judaism and Christianity are very, very ancient. And I believe that the Bible is one of the most important books on the earth, because it's really telling you some really interesting things, but if you don't understand how to read the symbols, it's never going to dawn on you how this stuff works. I think the New Testament is probably the most important story in the whole world, but not as history, but as a metaphor, as an encoded message. But let me go back to this one subject that I've been very interested in for a long time, and that is, in the beginning of the Bible, in Genesis 1:1 says, in the King James Bible, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. But that's not what it says in the old ancient Hebrew or Phoenician language. That's not what it says in the original language. That's how it was.
Okay, so what was the original language? Okay, the Tav Asheret, or Tav Asheri, and the Tav Ivri, the sister language of the Aramaic, which nobody speaks or writes today. It's a long dead language, but the translator, native-born Aramaic-speaking translator Victor Alexander, had found a way in order to translate those. He was doing a translation of probably the Western Peshitta or something, but then he was told by a high priest or a priest of the original ancient Apostolic Church of the East, no, that's wrong. Okay, it's incorrect. We don't use that. Here you go. And he bought a Bible format copy of the original manuscripts in the Tav Asher, and he found a way, and also the Galilean Aramaic, New Testament, and he discovered a way how to translate that old, no longer written, no longer spoken, long dead language. It's like the Norse, the old Germanic, etc. has gone the way of the dinosaur or the dodo. Nobody speaks those anymore. So you have modern vernaculars or dialects or versions. So he used the root words of the modern vernacular, probably the Syriac, to be able to translate those long dead manuscripts, the language of the manuscripts, because they had very similar words, very similar meanings. Unless you use that type of method, well, you're not going to know what it's saying, right? And you're not going to be able to translate that as he did into the nearest English equivalent. Okay? You're going to run into problems. So we'll continue for a little bit longer on this video, this lecture.
Translated from the English and the King's English. Well, the King's English, the King James Version, was translated by the best translators that the king had at the time, and it was very well done. However, they know more about the language today than what they did then, and so there's a lot of imperfections in the King James Bible.
There you go, King James onlys. They reckon it's the most correct, non-contradictory, error-filled version. He's just stated there's a lot of imperfections in the King James Bible. Okay, so he probably, what we found through our personal research is that he was going to sit on the throne, him and his queen, right? And they had king's rights, all this sort of stuff. They wanted that. They wanted to live by that rather than another method suggested, so they could do what they want, how they wanted, when they wanted, to whoever they wanted, whenever they felt like it. That's what they were basically sitting on the throne for. There was the Geneva Bible that came way earlier. He didn't like that, okay, because it basically went against what he wanted, to be the king who basically sat on the throne and could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, however he liked. Okay? People were against that sort of thing. They're supposed to be for the people, elected by the people or whatever. He's supposed to help the people, but it's basically he was getting all powerful through his own esteem, etc., etc. Okay? So he didn't like the Geneva Bible. He wanted to create a new English version. He was still part of the Roman Catholic Church. They were anglicised, the anglicised Church of England, etc., etc., until eventually, after taking out the Apocrypha, they probably broke away from it and then formed the Protestant Church, okay, which weren't very well liked by the Roman Catholic Church. They'd rather get rid of them, but they could use them, right, to control people, other people, right, etc., etc. So they put up with them. This is all historical. It's not made up by us. We didn't have a vision or a near-death experience or find it in some children's book. Okay, this is all historical fact. We've done the research. Okay, so that's what it says here. There's a lot of imperfections in the King James Bible that could
be misleading unless you understand what the words actually meant in the ancient world. And so when you read in the beginning, this is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's not what it says in Hebrew. It says, in the beginning of the creation, Elohim created the heavens and the earth.
Okay, so that's in the Hebrew. So we're going to go and have a look at the original ancient, very old Brita, or Genesis in English. This is from the Old Testament manuscripts, hand copied by monks and scribes, or scribes and monks in Ur-Hai, around 800 to 900 BCE. And obviously these scribes, monks, want to copy it exact, right? Okay, so it says here, as the beginning, the Son of God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was for him and by him, and the darkness was over the face of infinite space, so there was no time as such. And the Spirit of God, it's the Ruach HaKodesh, was over the layers of the water. Okay, and there's a footnote indication. So down here it's got 1 John, it's got 1:1, right? John 1:1, in the beginning of creation there was the manifestation, that which wasn't revealed, but then it was eventually revealed. And that manifestation was with God. So it's in the midst of God, accompanying him, near him, etc. in the English definition. And God was the embodiment of that manifestation, so they're one and the same. Okay, God was the Almighty that you could not look at and hope to live as a human being, and this Son of God was in the midst of him, so he comes out, becomes God, manifests in the flesh, or God incarnate, to dwell amongst men. Okay, so when they looked at him, he talked to them, whatever, they didn't die on the spot from seeing him. Okay, this was in the beginning of God. So we have done videos on comparisons of the Brita or Genesis. Right, he's the uncreated creator. He created the heavens and the earth, etc., etc. All on the earth that came into existence through nature, the animals, etc., were created by him, for him. Okay? And there was darkness over the face of infinite space. So there was no time as such as we know it. Okay? We compared this with Exodus for our other videos, where it actually says he is the one who's coming and is coming, he is the uncreated creator, and so forth. And then we matched it with, compared it with the book of John, where it says in the beginning of creation there was a manifestation, etc., etc. This is in the beginning with God. Everything was within his power, otherwise nothing would ever exist. Through him there was life, and life became the spark of humanity. So basically it's saying that he was the uncreated creator. So these JWs that came and visited us and tried to convince us, no, it's all wrong, it's all lies. He was begotten, he was created by God, he was the Archangel Michael, etc., etc. They were full of it. Okay, we proved it to them No, you're looking at the English definition, which is the English definition. It's not the Hebrew or the Aramaic, and not the spiritual definition. So you're incorrect. And they said, okay, and they're all good. They were really nice people. And they said, oh, we'll be back later, next Sunday, whatever, and they never came back. And it's been a month or so since we have never seen them again. And once exposed, they tend to not come back. It's by chance that they do. Okay, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to push their form of organised religion, their denomination, their particular sect, church, etc. Their doctrines, their dogmas, and so forth. Okay, so that's verification there, times 3, that Jesus, the Son of God, before he was known as Jesus, was the uncreated creator. He created all. All came to existence through him, and so forth. Let's go back to Jordan Maxwell.
Elohim is not the word God. El is a Phoenician, Canaanite name or word for deity. El, E-L. We talked a little bit about that last week. Elohim is like adding an S onto an English word. You have C-A-R for car, or C-A-R-S, cars, more than one. So adding an S on the end, to the end of most English words means it's plural, in the plural. Well, that's exactly what Elohim means. El is God, Elohim is plural. So the correct understanding should be read, the Hebrew read, in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth, not God.
But we just exposed that. Okay, what he really should be saying is, yeah, created by the gods, meaning the triune Godhead. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. That's what it really means. Okay, so I'm going to go jump back. Okay, where it says, and God said, let there be light, etc. And God said further down, 127, God created a human being to resemble his own visage. He created them male and female. Because up here he says somewhere, let us create man, or in even simpler English, we shall make the human being in the image of our likeness, and they shall have authority over the fish of the sea, etc., etc. So we means two or more. Okay, in your Americanized English modern versions, it'll say, let us. Let's have a look at this NIV, which is right here in front of us. We'll just use that. We could use the NLT. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's have a look at Genesis 127. Oh, 126. Then God said, let us. Okay, that's two or more. Okay, it's the triune Godhead. Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, the birds, etc., etc. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And so forth. Okay, that's way before Genesis 2:7. So he creates this human being to resemble his own visage. Visage means he had his likeness, right? 3-part, etc. He had his own face. He had the face of God. He created them, okay, two or more, male and female, two sex genders, right? Male and female, man and woman, at that particular time. Okay, what people don't understand, they think, oh, he did that in literal 6 days. Okay, in the original ancient Tav Ashret, the Aramaic, it says here, and God called the light day and darkness night, and evening and the morning became part of one cycle or evolution. The first eon, footnote indicator, there. Okay, from the original Aramaic or Tav Ashret, Lishana Atika Saprea word, literal Aramaic word, Euma, eon, immeasurable period, age or day with a capital D, because that Aramaic Hebrew day eventually that came around was very, very different to the day that we know of, that we understand in the Western world, etc. Okay? Even what they're implying in the Hebrew Bible translations, etc. They always have a little d, okay? Meaning basically the day of the week that we all are familiar with.